Hi Libra, welcome to your end of January 2022 General Tarot Update. It's Rena here. This one fell out, so I'm going to use this. Okay. The heart of the matter is the Six of Pentacles. This is a card of give and take. Although you probably wouldn't know it if you saw this particular description. This is my Wild Unknown Tarot deck, and I really love this deck for the artwork. As a deck for somebody who is just starting out, it wouldn't necessarily be ideal because if you don't know what the cards represent, it's hard to remember looking at some of these illustrations. But, you know, even if you know what the cards mean, you still have to kind of memorize it. But this is one of my favorite decks. I'm not like somebody who likes every single deck that I've used. I've actually tossed some of them because I don't resonate with them. So anyway, this card is all about the energy you put in and the energy you get back. So if it's in a relationship and you're doing the heavy lifting in the relationship, it's really the energy is like one way. And it's not, pentacles we often think about money and things like that. And of course it can be, but it doesn't have to be for sure. It can be anything to do with money is an energy. So that's just one form of things. But the point isn't that everything has to be tit for tat, but definitely you will see in certain circumstances that it's not fair. And Libra, that's like such a big thing. I was thinking not too long ago how when I was a kid, and let's say, I can remember like my father cutting pieces of cake or something like that. And, children tend to be obsessed about like, oh, their sibling getting a bigger piece or something. There's like such an inherent sense of fairness in children. And, it might be focused on mundane things, but it really isn't. Sometimes it can be treatment if they see one sibling gets to do one thing and they can't do it. So you may, like even in the workplace, feel that you're not being treated fairly, or this is something that's coming up for you in some way. If I look at the past position, it's a Six of Wands in reverse. I'll just hold it up. Not that this really matters, but I picked this card for another sign yesterday, and I was noting that rainbow that I really hadn't paid attention to, and I think the rainbow is kind of symbolic of the happy and happily ever after aspect of things. The Six of Wands, and it's not in the reversed position, it's not how you maybe had imagined it would be, and it can indicate feeling unappreciated for your gifts. So these are two sixes. It's very interesting too if I want to tie that together. And the number 6 is connected to Venus. And so, there's an aspect of harmony with Venus. And so this may feel inharmonious how you are being regarded by somebody. So for instance, in a relationship, if you're in a relationship with somebody who can't seem to see your good side, then that can feel after a while like it's not a very sustainable relationship. I don't know another way of putting it. Fulfilling for sure, but that sense of being lifted up by that person. Not that that person has to kiss your butt or just like completely ignore anything that might be important or a serious situation that you're not doing. Like if somebody has an addiction, it's not abusive to say, hey, you know, I noticed that you drink too much or that you're always high or something like that. That's not, there's nothing wrong about that. But if somebody's always picking at you and they're always trying to make you feel like you're not good enough, then that can feel uncomfortable after a while. And that can happen at work. Sometimes it's not that they're necessarily criticizing, but they're not praising, and then you don't feel like motivated. It's just natural that we feel motivated by praise and that we want to do more of something when we're praised. When we don't get that, it's hard to kind of push ourselves in that way. The higher message is the Ace of Wands. I really like this depiction of the Ace of Wands because it's so radiant. And this is talking about exciting new beginnings, things that make your heart sing, things that make you excited to get up in the morning, enthusiasm. And also the freedom. So something that may have created a sense of feeling not appreciated can turn into something that is much more, motivating, so that you can have your own self-expression and that you don't need someone to tell you you're doing a good job, because you're doing what you want to do and nobody is there to assess it, and there's like a real creative energy with the Ace of Wands. And of course it's a new beginning because it's ace. So anything along those lines can feel like something that you want to work towards, that you're in that type of situation. And also, if this is connected to a relationship, the same thing, where you feel like the relationship is always expansive. The fire element of Wands is expansion, not stagnation, not narrowness, but expansion. You can be with someone for years and it's never old. I love, my partner has said to me more than once, and we've been together almost 40 years, and he said to me more than once, it's ever fresh. And that to me is so much more something that I like to hear rather than just kind of those cliches, because it's really true. When you feel that sense of constant renewal with a person, you're going to be happy to be with them. You're not going to feel like you're being depleted, like it's one-sided and things like that. Oh, by the way, I don't know if I showed this to you last time, this crystal, but it's in the shape of a heart. I can't remember what, I think it might be selenite. I'm not sure though. Or selenite. Okay, what crosses you is the 10 of Pentacles. So it's interesting. The centerpiece is Pentacles, and this is Pentacles. Things that make you go, Because this can be family money. This can be like money that is like generational wealth, or if this is relationship related, like a relationship that stands the test of time. You have kids, you have grandkids. It's just like this whole dynasty or something like that. But it's in the challenge position. So if you are in a relationship and you're unsatisfied, then this might be the card that really hits home the idea that this is not anything that you can build on, because it's when something is one-sided, it doesn't have that foundation. It's like building a house and you only have a couple of sides or something. It's kind of rickety. But this is, when I pick the Ten of Pentacles, sometimes I think of people who are getting money from their family. And so maybe you're in your 20s and you live on your own, but you still get money from your family sometimes. And it feels like, because the Six of Pentacles can be receiving financial aid, from maybe you are the one who is receiving that, but it doesn't feel good to receive it because there's a price to be paid. This is what is happening. Sometimes people get money and they get berated by the person. That's usually in a narcissistic, like, parental relationship where they give you money and then they tear you down at the same time. And that really sucks. But sometimes you need the money and you just like suck it up, buttercup. And you just like, okay, all right, whatever, and pocket the cash. But at some point, if it's just this chronic thing, because sometimes what they do is they keep their adult child dependent, and they, at the same time, they're telling you that you're incompetent in so many words by things that they're saying to you, and they're not appreciating, they're not building you up. So by doing that, they're keeping you tied to them and dependent upon them, and that is unhealthy. So depending on what else is happening, if it's just them saying a few things once in a while, that might be a different story. But if it's something where it's like a concerted effort to keep you dependent on them as an adult so that you're not living your own life, then you're going to have to figure out a way to break that cycle. What's coming in is a Judgment card. This is a card of karma, maybe instant karma, but it's also a card of rebirth. It's funny, I got this card of rebirth and then I ended with the Death card. But anyway, the Judgment card is about, interesting, the Judgment card is a card, I was going to say like Libra, is the Justice card, and justice and judgment. What's the difference? Sometimes the Judgment card could be like a legal judgment too. So there can be some similarities. So if this is like a relationship, like a marriage that is ending, then perhaps you're in that waning period where you're waiting for that legal judgment. Or if it's like an inheritance issue also. The Judgment card is in the upright position, so it could be something that is in your favor. But again, with the Ten of Pentacles in reverse, it may not feel that good to take that money because it may come at a price, in other words. But also, the Judgment card is about how good is your judgment. Are you choosing things that lead to good outcomes? So if you are complaining that you're in a one-sided relationship, where is your responsibility in that? Do you think that you are discerning of good character, for instance? Or do you think that maybe you are involved with somebody who is not, or that you tend to be involved with people that are taking from you, and that's because they do not really, they're not entering the relationship with good faith. They're doing it for some ulterior motive, maybe. And And that's another thing too, if you're helping somebody else out, because the Six of Pentacles could be you helping out maybe a family member, you have to use good judgment if that person is telling you a sob story, but there's no evidence that they are doing anything on their behalf. You have to be able to trust that they have their own path and that it's not your responsibility. What came into my mind is, especially if you have like the moon in Pisces, Libra, and you tend to, be a sucker for sob stories and things like that, you have to have that discernment, because helping people is great, but enabling people is not so great. And that could easily be, morph into that at some point if you just notice that that person is just never seeming to take any steps to help themselves. The outcome is a Death card. Something has to end. Something has to transform into something else in order for you to be able to continue on with it. So it's like something has to give. If you love someone and you don't want to leave that relationship, but you feel that they aren't giving you the same type of, they're not giving you what you need, and they just are self-absorbed, that can't be, that can't continue. If you are someone who really feels a sense of, working for a company and they're not praising you ever. They're just acting like you don't know where you stand, in other words. That has to change. Death is something that people fear, even if they know it's not physical death. Change can make people a little bit nervous, but it's something that it can lead, can open a door to something even better. And that's what people forget, is that they can feel a sense of liberation from something ending. And I just can't get over that picture of the Death card. I just plucked chicken. It's just crazy. Okay, that's what I have for you, Libra. I hope that this resonated, and I hope that you have a great rest of the month. If you would like a private reading, the link is below. Take care. Bye.